It's a Tuesday, and that's always a good time for a quote. We know through pain and experiences that freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. Martin Luther King. On this Tougher Together Tuesday night, I just wanted to talk to you guys about a video that most of you guys have already possibly seen. This video involving Tyreek Hill and him getting pulled over by the police. One of the things that I saw in that video, looking at it at each viewpoint of Tyreek's, the cops, and even his teammates. One, looking at the cops' point of view, I think definitely if you've ever done security or if you've ever done any events where celebrities are around, you will often notice that celebrities, not all of them, but some, they have a thing where they think that they're better than everybody else, that they're above everybody else. And I think with some of the actions that Mr. Hill made those police think that he thought he was better than them. Some of the things that I would point out that he did, one of them was telling them, don't knock on my window when they approach this window. Anytime I've been pulled over by the police, that's one of the things they do. They need to actually see what's going on, see if you have anything in your car, or see if anything else is possibly going on. Then after he told him to hurry up once he gave him his license and things like that. That's another thing that you shouldn't do or say with the police. And then he actually rolled his window back up as they were actually talking to him. And so what I think that caused them to start thinking was this dude has no respect for our authority or what we're actually saying. And if you ever do that, this triggers a person to actually get upset. Even if that was just you individually talking to somebody and you try and get his attention and they treat you that way, you'll feel some type of disrespect. But I do not think their actions after that were actually right, what they actually did to him. For one, telling him to get out the car, of course they could tell him to get out the car, but they were very impatient with letting him get out the car, and then they actually dragged him out the car and threw him to the ground to go ahead and handcuff him. They could have actually stood him up and held him up as they actually handcuffed him. It was three cops that were there. Another thing that I thought was disrespectful what they did to him was after they had him in handcuffs and they stood him up, they sat him down. Now, he's in handcuffs now, so he's detained. There's not much that he can actually do. So there was no reason for him to be sat down, and there was no reason for that cop to actually use force to actually put him down. I mean, he could clearly just tell him to sit down. If he doesn't chooses to sit down, it really doesn't matter. He's detained. There's nothing he can do. He's already in handcuffs. So you don't have to actually sit him down. I just think that cop was a little bit too upset at the situation. I mean, and then it didn't really look like the other ones were trying to help to calm him down. And it was a bad look for them on that part. I think up into those things, the things that they did or whatnot, you can probably justify them. But as far as pushing him down so that he could sit down, there's no need for him to sit down. He's detained. So that was wrong on their part. But then also too, I thought it was wrong on their part as far as telling their his teammates to back up and things like that. Now that part was right to tell them to back up, but if you watch the video a little bit further, you'll see that later on there's other people actually walking around because they're actually going to the football game. And then that's something too that these cops should actually possibly be aware about, and maybe they need to work with the Dolphins better as far as knowing who the actual players are. Not saying that he should be able to allow to actually speed at that level, but so that they'll know, okay, I'm actually dealing with an NFL player. Okay, maybe he's a little thinking he's above the law or whatnot, but there's no need for us to actually treat him like in a way that he's not a player that's about to get ready to play in the game. He maybe was late and he just thought he could just rush in, but we just go give him his ticket, let him go about his way. And I'm not sure at what point they actually figured out that he was an NFL player, but even with other teammates of his coming up there, I'm not sure if they didn't know that they were NFL players or not, and that's why I say the police and the Miami Dolphins maybe need to do a better job of informing the police who the actual players are so that they can see this was their reason for concern, because they see that their teammate is in handcuffs with the cops, and the way that they were being with him, it was a little bit aggressively, so they didn't know if they should actually stay there and watch and make sure that nothing happens to him, that he doesn't get killed or anything. So that was the reason for their concern. And I also want to give them big ups for them actually stepping in and stand there. And then even his teammate who got arrested because they told him to get back in his car, and he didn't get back in his car, and they put him in handcuffs. They talked to him, and after they talked to him, they let him go out of his handcuffs. But with them doing that, it makes me question, at the point when they found out that he was an NFL player and he was trying to get to his game, why didn't they actually take him out of the handcuffs as well and just tell him, hey, we're sorry about it, just calm down, you shouldn't have been speeding like that. There's been plenty of times I've been pulled over by the police, and once they figured out everything was okay, there was no cause for them to be concerned, then they actually would calm down. And so I thought they could have let him out of his handcuffs once they figured out who he actually was, because they weren't going to take him to jail. The only thing he did was speed, and then he wasn't obeying what they were actually saying, which brings me to think, with our systems, we need to work on maybe a way, because even with the police having the authority that they do have, I think it puts a lot of people in a situation where you don't know what to actually do. Meaning, Tyreek Hill just felt like, hey, these cops are treating me wrong, even though he was a little disrespectful to them. But at the same time, with the things that they did to him once they had him detained, who can actually help him out in that situation? And I feel like maybe we should start hiring people to actually go places with the police and be with them and be like a peer mediator to say, okay, hey, this guy's detained. Let me talk to him and calm him down. I'm not basically with the cops. I'm here for you, but just letting you know you were overstepping your boundaries. But we're going to calm them down so that they don't do anything to you. That may be a solution to all these police incidents, because when you give the police all the authority, it puts it in their hands as far as what they want to do to you when they want to do to you. And that's what we seen as they detained him, that they were able to do whatever they wanted to him. And there was nothing that he can actually do as a citizen, even if they were in the wrong. So when they detained him, the pushing him down, making him sit down, those were things that I thought they really didn't need to do. But because they have the authority on their side, they know that they can actually get away with it. But this is a Tougher Together Tuesday, and we just have to pray and hope that, we can get better as a society so that we can be together on one accord and we can be tougher together. Good night.